Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Uh-huh.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for chiming in to tonight's Peace of Mind call. Go ahead and state your name and where you're calling in from.
What's up? What's up? Eugene Post from out in New York right now, actually.
Hey, look at you with the nice tan skin over there, man.
Look rosy, babe.
I don't know what that is. I think that's lighting.
Who else do we got on the line, ladies and gentlemen? If you haven't already, state your name and where you're calling in from. Got a bunch of good groups that are on time and early.
From Loma Linda, California.
Hey, Robert, welcome to the call.
And in Vegas.
Hey, Ken, welcome to the call.
What's up, guys? This is Bien from San Francisco.
Hey, Bien, welcome to the call.
Tiffany from Florida.
Hey, Tiff, welcome to the call.
Hey, it's Carlos calling from New York City.
Hey, Carlos, welcome to the call.
Amber Cribbs from Dallas, Texas.
Hey, welcome to the call, Amber. Go ahead and send a last minute invite to, or rather a text to all that you've invited. Definitely excited for our trainer on tonight's Peace of Mind call. And so kudos to all of you for being early on time and committing to expand your mindset. But let's go ahead and pay it forward and send that last minute text to all our guests that we have thought about in having them be a part of the Peace of Mind. We'll give it another minute, folks. So go ahead and send that text message. And if you haven't already, go ahead and state your name and where you're calling in from.
Oh, I see my girl Janelle. Thank you, Janelle, for tapping in. I see my brother Jim on the line.
Hey, got the whole fam bams.
Wow.
Hey, it's Veronica. I'm over here calling in the Millbrae office.
Hey, Veronica. Welcome to the call.
Thanks.
All right. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road because I'm really excited to have our speaker on the call. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Peace of Mind, where leadership, legacy, and financial empowerment come together. This is a space to grow, to get clear, and to get real about building a life and business with purpose. Tonight's speaker is actually a holistic health practitioner, but embodies both peace and power. Miss Ezra Luz-Johns took a personal healing journey and turned it into a mission, not just to help breathe better, but to live wiser. From the yoga mat to business meetings, she bridges the gap between wellness and wealth and shows us how to lead from the inside out. Please give your undivided attention. Get ready to be inspired, get ready to be empowered. And by the way, let me just also add that not only is this lady have a heart of gold and just will bring out the power in you and remind you of that power in you, but aside from the wealth of knowledge she's going to share with us this evening to just validate the heart of gold that she has, she also has a surprise for you. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ezra Luz-Johns. Ezra, you on?
Thank you so much, Mark. I'm kind of nervous here. I got a lot.
Don't be. Take it away.
Excuse me, just a head start. I might cough. I have a little scratch in my throat for some reason. But other than that, I hope to deliver tonight, which I sure will, because I got a great mentor in the back pocket, which is Eugene, that I get to witness, every single day with his mentorship and his.
Oh, I think you muted yourself on accident.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Once I get the whole control, then I can mute everyone else. But anyways, so am I able to share my screen, Mark?
Yep, you are. Take it away.
Okay, got you. Share. Let's see. Okay. For those of you just joining us, if you can please mute your mics. I am not going to be focusing on muting it. Other than that, we are at chapter 13, which is the law of the picture. So with this, you have to ask yourself, what's a picture that most people will never forget? right? Are you leading with love, legacy? Are you an example? And so this training is based on, of course, Law of the Picture, chapter 13, in the book of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Excuse my spelling there, of leadership, from John C. Maxwell. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining and supporting. I hope you're taking notes here because this is kind of a reality check. I touched base with Mark earlier, and I was just sharing too that it was a bit emotional for me doing this presentation because the flashbacks of where I was 10 years ago till now, just being able to relive all of that, every single thing, like every single memory just came up, and it was as if it was just yesterday for me. So this is a little bit personal. In the past, I've talked about my experiences, but I don't think I've talked about it in this manner. And so reading the law of the picture reminded me of what I went through, how I emitted that in my own life. So first and foremost, can everybody see my screen? Okay,
Yep.
cool. I can't see anyone's chat, so if you're chatting on there, thank you. Before I start, of course, you see my name. I want you guys to do the same thing if you can, or if you're capable of doing so. Please write your name, your first and last name in the chat with your contact preference number, like an email or phone number. At the end of this call, I'm going to be raffling out by submission order. So whoever that lucky number is, you guys are going to get a little trinket from me. And so this was planned out like months ahead that I wanted to do this, and I'm hoping that this will be helpful for everyone. So put that in. It's going to be a little raffle, a little giveaway at the end of this, okay? So my name is Ezra. Nice little AI picture of me. But you can see me real live here. Let me just minimize this chat right now. Mark, if you can help me out with getting that list going.
You got it.
Thank you. Okay. So for those of you that know, I am a certified breathwork facilitator. And it came to me when back in late 2017, 2018, I started my breathwork facilitation career in a sense of because medication did not work for me. Doctors were telling me certain things and it just did not work, and I had to advocate for myself. I do some graphic designing. I've helped out with the San Mateo County. Of course, these are flyers that are legitimately spread throughout the government. So really involved with that was helping out. Some of Eugene's slides I've done, some of the flyers I've done for iLeverage or Biz to Biz too. So really a creative mind. I'm also a photographer, and these are some pictures that I've taken over the years. I picked up the camera at the age of 14. I was so used to my parents just taking pictures of me. And then finally, I just turned it around and I said, you know, enough about celebrating me. Let me celebrate you guys, celebrate the people around me, and to capture each person at their best moment. Like, I love showing that. I love showing my clients like who they really are, what their reflection is to me, and highlighting that. More creativity. I used to do brow tattoos, but unfortunately my back doesn't allow me to do that. Eugene has inspired me to do some body tattoos as well. So you can call me a tattoo artist. I'm someone's daughter. I'm someone's sister. I'm someone's auntie and someone's godparent. I'm someone's bestie, and I'm someone's confidant, and I'm someone's fiance. And I'm also a proud part of the Biz to Biz movement. But tonight, none of that matters. The title, it doesn't matter. What matters is this question. What do people see when they see you? Ask yourself that. What do people see when they see you? It's kind of might be above the surface, but I'm challenging you to dig a little deeper. Just like in breath work, I need you to breathe a little deeper. Make sure you expand your lungs to the bottom of your rib cage. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And exhale, completely exhale and let go. What do people see when they see you?
What happened?
So John C. Maxwell, he teaches that people do what people see. That is the law of the picture. It's humbling, it's revealing, and it's life-changing once you let it sink in. It's not just a leadership principle, it's a mirror. It reflects not what you say, but what you live. This truth is so humbling because it holds you accountable. It's revealing because it shows you where your actions and values don't align. And it's life-changing once you're honest enough to let it sink in. John C. Maxwell, John C. Maxwell, he does teach people, people do what people see. That is a law of the picture. It's not just leadership. It reflects not what you say, but what you live. Oh, sorry, my screen just froze on me. So this truth, like I said, it's humbling, it's revealing, and it's life-changing once you're honest enough to let it sink in. Oh, sorry, let's go back. Sorry. Like, the reality of it all is that people aren't just listening to your titles, they're not moved by your highlight reels, Before I knew the law of the picture, I was unknowingly painting one, and it wasn't the right one. So before I became a breathwork facilitator. Before I began my healing journey, I was deep in the world of marketing. Not for the health products, not for the personal development brands. I was the marketing director for 10 adult strip clubs in San Francisco. Let me say that again, because I don't hide from it. I own it. I loved it. That it was the best 20, like my year of 20s where I got paid to play, okay? So it was fun. But I was responsible, for building branding, promos, and digital presence, especially physical presence, everything that made those businesses profitable. From the outside, it looked successful. The money was fast, the scene was loud, the demand was endless. And as the marketing director of 10 adult clubs in San Francisco, I looked like I was winning, the money, the connections,
Mami,
that
esos están viejos.
life.
No te vas a meter eso, están viejos.
The money, the connections, the nightlife, but inside I was leading no one. I wasn't even leading myself. And then something shifted. Like, I started seeing the women I work with not as roles, but as real people. I was kind of judgmental. Not kind of, I was really judgmental. I didn't understand their why. And then finally, I didn't see them as just entertainers. I saw them as mothers, as daughters, as survivors, as protectors. And each one carried untold stories, unhealed wounds, and a lot of unimaginable strength. takes a lot of courage to be in that type of industry, a lot of mental toughness to be in that type of industry. And I always told the entertainers, you are in the nitty gritty, worst of the worst capitalistic environment ever. You have nothing to sell but yourself, your personality, your characteristics, how you handle yourself, you. When I started to show up differently in their lives, not just as another boss or manager, but as another human being trying to get something better out of this, putting things in a better light, that's when it shifted for me. I showed up differently, and then I just stopped managing their schedules and promotions, and I started coaching them, like not for money, but for meaning. I taught them how to protect their energy, how to recognize their worth, how to think like business women instead of just performers. And clarity doesn't come from what you do, it comes from why you do it. When you're grounded in your why, your vision sharpens, your decisions become intentional, your resilience deepens, and your leadership becomes magnetic, not because of how loud you speak, but because of how clearly you live. For me, my why was my family. My father's pride gave me confidence. My mother's prayers carried me when I couldn't carry myself. And my brothers, they were watching how I responded to pain, watching what I did when life broke me open. I realized that my example would become their expectation. And that kind of responsibility doesn't blur your vision, it brings it into focus. When you know your why, you stop chasing everything and you start becoming something. When I was flat on my back with a spinal injury, unable to work, move, pay rent, I realized that my brothers were watching. Like, they're everything to me. I'm 10 years older. I have 2 younger brothers. My family was watching, my closest cousins, my aunts, my uncles. And whether I liked it or not, I was still leading. So I had to ask myself, like, what kind of picture was I showing them? They saw the rawest parts of me. They saw me cry in frustration, not once, but often. They saw me crawl across the floor just to make myself a meal because I physically couldn't stand. They saw me at my lowest, my most broken, my most bruised, and barely hanging on. Not gracefully. Like, I didn't go through this. Like, they saw me rise and rise and rise again. I kept trying and I kept falling, but I failed forward. You know, it wasn't graceful, it wasn't quick, but I did it faithfully. Um, they saw me choose hope when everything in me wanted to give up. They saw me fight through the darkness, not because I had to be strong, but because I couldn't afford to stay weak, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. And that's when the realization hit me. I looked to my brothers in the eyes and I told them, and this has been an ongoing thing of, if you see me do something good, 10x it. I got the 10x from Grant Cardone. Like, make it yours. Run further than I could ever. If you see me do something out of alignment, don't just copy it. Ask yourself, are you ready to live with the consequences? So at least they have that option. But it's truthful, it's honest. And as an older sister and as an aunt, as a godparent, I always tell this to even my closest friends. You see something that I do good, 10x it. Take it. Do even better. You see something I do bad, can you handle the consequences? Because this is what I went through. And that's what real leadership in family looks like. Not just protecting them from the world, but showing them how to move through it with awareness. I knew I couldn't just teach with my words. They were watching my actions. They were learning from how I move. not when things were easy, but when life got ugly. So I had to make sure that the picture that I was painting wasn't just inspiring, it was instructional. I wanted them to inherit more than just my lessons. I wanted them to inherit my example. You know, there's times where I needed strength from other people. I surrounded myself with people who molded strength, faith, and resilience. People who didn't just talk about healing, they lived it. People who didn't just believe in miracles, they became them. On the left-hand side, I have my great friend, Paul Hemby. He was born with cerebral palsy. He is an Olympic bodybuilder. Who am I to complain about my little back injury when this person was given this type of body from God, and he still strives and finds the willpower to succeed and to show up for himself? My dad, being of his age, his first stroke made him break his leg. He recovered so fast, his pain medication was only Tylenol. He had enough courage and willpower in his soul to say, I will get through this. And within a month, he was back up and walking. He didn't want my help or anything. So in my weakest moments, I borrowed their courage. When I couldn't see the light, I walked in theirs. And piece by piece, breath by breath, I began to just rebuild myself. You know, their example gave me permission to keep going. Not perfectly, but honestly. They gave me a picture to borrow when I couldn't see mine clearly. You know, and in time I began to wonder, like, what if I could be that for someone else? What if my scars became someone's survival guide? I may not have had all the answers, but I had the experience, I had truth, I had heart, and most importantly, I had hope and I had my faith. So the law of the picture is more than a principle. It's a calling. You just might be the blueprint for someone else's breakthrough. I modeled humility, honesty, and hunger, not because I had it all together, but because I refused to pretend I did. Even in the moments when I didn't feel like a leader, when I was doubting myself, questioning everything, or barely making it through the day, I was still planting seeds. Seeds of strength, seeds of self-respect, seeds of staying in power. Because leadership isn't about feeling ready, it's about showing up regardless of how you feel. And I've always known deep down, it's not me, it's me who gets to decide whether it's over or not. Not the pain, not the circumstances, not the people who counted me out, me. And I'm honestly proud that I made the decision that now is not the time to quit. It's never the right time to quit. Rest, absolutely. Cry if you need to. Regroup, recalibrate, realign. Yes, yes, and more yes. But quit? Hard no. There are people watching, you know, who don't know there are people watching you that you don't even know that are watching you. And if my life can whisper one thing to them, I hope it's this: to keep going, even if it's slow, even if it's not pretty, even if no one claps. Just don't stop. Because every step forward, no matter how small, it still builds a picture someone else will follow. And I learned throughout all this that your mind is your greatest weapon. Sometimes we just need to search a little longer, to breathe a little deeper, to dig one more layer down to find the way. And for me, that search didn't always lead to immediate answers, but it always led to growth. I had to make the best out of every situation, even when it felt like there was nothing left. Even when the odds were stacked, the pain was loud and the progress like felt invisible. But I just kept telling myself, if this is the moment I'm in, I'm going to use it to come back stronger. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I learned quickly your mind is your greatest weapon, not just your body. My body was not responding well, but my mind was there. Your body may need rest, it may break, it may bend, but your mind, if guarded, sharpened, and fueled with faith, can carry you through all hell and still come out with fire. That's why I started feeding my mind with what I wanted my life to become. I fed it truth, I fed it hope, I fed it vision, even when my reality didn't match it. Because I knew before you change your life, you have to change the picture in your mind. That's where it starts as well. So on the left-hand side, you can see my mom coming to visit me at my 2-bedroom house in San Mateo, putting socks on me because I couldn't reach. I couldn't bend at the waist. Both my parents had to change me, had to bathe me. It was frustrating. I never wanted to be a grown child in front of my parents. I went from being completely dependent from my mama and papa having to feed me, bathe me, dress me, to taking long, shaky walks around my living room. The second video is me walking around my own living room with a cane. And that was me trying to teach myself how to walk again. You know, I had to learn how to push past the pain until I collapsed and do that over and over again until I can go further and further. I wasn't walking to build strength. I was walking to prove to myself that I could, to remind my body what it felt like to keep moving, even if it hurt. And it did hurt. Physically, yes, but mentally, that battle was brutal. There were days I thought, what's the point? You know, but I just had to keep going. Even if I cried the whole way, even if I fell like after 2 steps, I just constantly had to fail forward over and over because my picture for myself was success. And if that was taking me a step further than what I could before, that was everything to me. Every failure still like moved me further than standing still could ever. Like, I guess you can say I'm hard-headed, but in the best possible way. You know, Eugene, I see that you agree. Because like stubbornness can break you, but when it's rooted in purpose, it can build you. And mine turned out into relentless hope. The kind that doesn't ask, how long will this take? It just says, let's go again. Let's try it again. Let's get up again. Let's see where it takes us. That's how I rebuilt. Not in a giant leap, but in gritty, painful, determined inches. And that's what makes the picture worth following. Oh. Let's go back to this. So, speaking about the hardest part is the mental battle. It wasn't the pain again, and it wasn't the physical therapy. It wasn't even learning how to walk again. The hardest part was the mental battle. There's a lot of doubt, a lot of frustration, the fear of what if I never get back? That constant whisper of like, maybe this is as good as it gets. Like, I learned something important from all this. Those feelings are a part of the process, but they don't get to define you. It wasn't until I stopped overthinking and started trusting my instincts that everything began to shift completely. My internal world slowed down, even when the pace of life around me like stayed super fast. My confidence stopped depending on applause or approval. It started coming from within. And for the first time in a long time, I moved freely, without the fear of injury, without the weight of failure on my back. That's what mental strength really is. It's not just about pushing harder. It's about dropping into a deeper space where your mind and body are aligned, where resilience becomes your rhythm, where peace meets power and says, let's go. Because when your inner world is steady, you don't just perform better. You live freer. Freedom from fear. You know, my faith really carried me through, and it's so strong. Like I was talking to Mark earlier, that it's just amazing how we are given these bodies, these vessels, and all you need is your breath and your heartbeat, and that in itself is spirit. We all have choice. We all have willpower. Sometimes we forget it. Sometimes that picture isn't clear, but we can borrow other people's strengths. A little music here, so I don't know if you can hear me. So they told me I wouldn't walk again, not for at least 2 years. They said I need medication for the rest of my life. They said there was no other way. But every waking moment, I chose to move anyway. Even if it was slower, even if it was shaky, I made each step intentional, rooted in grace and love and in faith that no one else could give me but me. You know, I refuse to be chained to someone else's mindset. I refuse to stay small. I refuse to stay silent, to settle into depression and just deal with it. No, I dug deep. I found something stronger than fear, my will. And that will had to be trained, not just felt. It took discipline. It took showing up on the days I didn't want to. It took rewriting my own beliefs over and over and over until I believed in me more than I believed in their prognosis. Because, you know, if I was going to be the picture others look to, then I had to paint one that showed that was possible, not what was predicted. I make my own predictions. I control my own life. I want you all to listen to this.
75% of you is still fucking in there, still chained up, because you just didn't want to find your willpower, didn't want to find your soul, your will, your heart, your determination, your guts, your courage. There's no hacks, bro. It's you against you. You against 75% of you is still fucking in there, still chained up, because you just
I'm not sure how to pause this. Not sure how to pause the audio with this.
It's still fucking in there.
But let me
Still chained up because you just didn't want to find your will.
Can everyone hear me? Nod your heads, because I can't see the chat. Even if this is playing in the background, it's gonna haunt you, this video. It's gonna be you against you. And
75%.
I took this from my friend, Jenilyn. I believe she's still on the call, not sure.
Didn't want to find your
But
will.
she's a holistic healer as well. She's currently mentoring my youngest brother, Jim, in the world of massage therapy.
It's you against you.
So she had written this down when she met David Goggins. She said,
It's still
someone had asked David, what's one of the hardest challenges you faced in your
didn't want
career?
to find your willpower.
He
Didn't
answered,
want to find your
leadership.
will, your heart,
Leadership style
determination,
changes
guts,
every 3 to
courage.
6 years. And it's hard to change the way you lead when you know what works. And what works is
75%
truth.
of you
But these
is still
days, very
fucking
few
in
people are strong enough to face the
Still
truth.
chained up.
Most have been
because you just
successful,
didn't
but in
wanna
those
find your
hundreds
will.
include the few people
Didn't
who
want to find
quit,
your soul, your will,
aren't
your heart,
compliant,
your
or straight up say
determination,
whatever
guts,
we are
courage.
teaching doesn't
There's no
work for them.
hacks, bro. It's you against
What we
you.
teach works,
You against
but you need the discipline to
75%
apply the
of you
knowledge.
is still fucking in there,
Discipline is hard.
still
For
chained
those of
up.
you who go to the gym every
because you
single
just
day, you
didn't wanna
know
find your
it's
willpower.
hard.
Didn't want to find
It's
your
like
soul,
starting up a
will, your
car
heart, your
that's really old. It's
determination,
been
your guts,
sitting
courage.
for a
There's no
really
hacks,
long
bro.
time. The fuels
It's
need to
you
get
against you.
pumping.
You against you.
Your only
75%
competition
of you
is the
still
reflection
fucking
staring
in there,
back at you.
still
Stop
chained up
negotiating your
because you just
weakness.
didn't want to find
It's
your
not
willpower.
you versus
Didn't want to
them.
find your soul,
It's
your will,
you
your heart,
versus
your
you.
determination,
The
guts, courage.
excuses,
There's no
the
hacks, bro.
doubts, the
It's you against you.
distractions, they only win if you let them.
75% of you
Lock
is still
in.
fucking in there,
You have come
still
too
chained up
far to play small now.
because you just didn't
I
want to
need all
find
of
your
you to
will.
show up,
Didn't want to find your
double
soul,
down, and
will,
give your
heart,
future a
determination,
reason
guts,
to thank
courage.
you.
There's no hacks, bro.
Tap in,
It's you against
lock
you.
in. Get it. Be around people that motivate you. Be around people who only see that picture of you becoming the very best version of yourself.
Find your willpower.
Knowledge is no good without action. The law of the picture teaches us leadership is lived, not claimed. I'm not at 100%. Maybe I never will be. I still live with nerve pain every single day. But that doesn't stop me from smiling. That doesn't stop me from dreaming. That does not stop me at all. I could care less about how fast I'm moving because I know I'm still moving, and that's enough. I'm not here to please anyone. I'm here to live a fulfilled life, every moment, every breath on my terms. This is leadership. This is the picture I choose to paint, one of resilience, presence, and purpose. So let's pause here, okay? Because leadership without self-awareness becomes manipulation. You're not manipulating just other people, you're manipulating yourself. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, if you're leading from ego instead of empathy, if your actions are about control instead of contribution, then you're not leading, you're performing. True leadership starts within. It's not about how many people follow you, but how deeply you know yourself. Because when you're self-aware, you lead with intention, not insecurity. You lead with purpose, not pride. You lead with integrity, not image. And that's the difference between leaving a legacy and just leaving an impression. So take a screenshot of this. Here are 11 assessment questions based on the law of the picture. These questions keep me grounded, and I hope they can do the same for you. You have to keep an open mind that these questions don't condemn you, they calibrate you. They aren't here to shame you for where you've been. They're here to realign you with where you're meant to go. These questions hold up a mirror, not to criticize, but to bring further clarity. They reveal the picture you're actually living, not the one you post, not the one you hope for, not the one you perform, but the one where your energy paints every single day. Because, before we can change the story others see, we've got to confront the one we're telling ourselves. What am I modeling daily? Who is closely watching my actions right now? Where am I out of alignment with what I teach or expect? What picture would I be proud to pass down to the next generation? Where was I afraid today? An important one. Where was I afraid today? Where was I self-centered? Where was I self-seeking? Am I living from purpose or just reacting from pain? Where was I dishonest? Where did I act in integrity today, even when no one was looking? And am I surrounding myself with people who reflect my vision or people who reflect my past? Take a screenshot, write it down, do whatever. If someone's listening, you can just say, I can send you this. Let me know. You guys have my IG, my information. I will send you this just as a friendly reminder. Ask yourselves these. So, what do you do with all of this? You don't just sit with it. You don't just nod in agreement. I challenge you to act. I challenge you to embody. I challenge you to become. Because awareness without action is a stalled life. And leadership without movement is just a title. Now is your moment not to perform, but to practice, not to impress, but to impact, not to just hear this message, but to live it. Let them see you rise. Let them see you lead. Let them see the picture they'll never forget. Why not? The world doesn't change from your intentions. It changes from your example. We can all mean well. You can plan, pray, post all day, but people don't follow what you say, they follow what you show. Your kids, your team, your community, your future self, they're all watching the picture you're painting with your life. So ask yourself, are you leaving behind just words or a legacy of action? Because transformation doesn't come from theory. It comes from someone bold enough to live the truth out loud. Let that be you. Let that be you. 5 action steps to embody the law of the picture. I need you to audit your reflection. Ask yourself, what does my life actually reflect? Leadership starts with awareness. Your energy, habits, tone, and choice, they're all communicating something. Make sure they reflect what you actually believe and value. Adjust your daily walk with your talk. Not just talk legacy, live it. Every routine, relationship, and response is an opportunity to mold the life you'd be proud to pass on. If your actions don't match your values, it's time to realign. Align and surround yourself with mirrors, not echoes. Mirrors, not echoes. Choose community that calls you up, not just claps for your comfort. I'd rather be in an environment that's going to push me out of my comfort zone. And I thank Eugene every single day that when I have my lowest moments, he is there cheering me on, and vice versa. You know, be around people who reflect your strength, growth, and grace, people who sharpen you and challenge the picture you're planning. Amplify and be honest about the hard parts. Real leadership isn't about just modeling the wins. It's about showing what it looks like to struggle and still stand up. Show the process, show the progress, show the persistence, and accept the present. Lead now, not later. Don't wait for a title. Don't wait for a platform or permission. The moment you decide to live with intention, you've already become someone's example. You are the picture today, not someday. Today. So here's what I want to leave you with. We're not here just to talk leadership. We're here to become the leaders the world is dying to see. We're not here to post quotes. We're here to live a life worth quoting because someone is watching you right now. Not for perfection, but for proof that healing is real, that faith works, that resilience is possible, that love still leads. Every day you have the chance to become the picture they'll never forget. So the question is, will your leadership stop at your words, or will your life start the change someone else needs? Will your kids, your peers, your clients remember what you said? Or will they remember what you showed them was possible? Will they remember the quotes you posted? Or the courage you embodied when life got hard? Because truthfully, we don't need more influencers. We need more examples. More people who live the lessons. More leaders who walk in integrity. More souls who make it safe to struggle and still rise. Let your life be the lesson. Let your actions be the curriculum. Let your resilience be the proof that healing, growth, and greatness are possible. Because words may inspire, but examples transform. We've got enough people talking into cameras. What we need are people walking in truth. We need women and men who live what they post, who don't just broadcast their highlight reels, but embody integrity in the dark. Discipline when no one's watching, and compassion when it costs them something. Influence fades. Examples echo. Be the echo that outlives the noise. Because when your life becomes the model, your legacy becomes unstoppable. So live boldly, model integrity, show up with heart, and lead with love, legacy, and example. Let the picture of your life preach louder than your voice ever could. Become the picture. Yeah. All right. So I am going to check the chats right now. And whoever, let's see, whoever did entry number 18, who was the 18th person that put in their information gets a little freebie from myself. Kudos to Eugene for helping with that too.
Do you got that? Or are you okay? Do you want me to help you with that?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4,
I
5,
already counted.
6, 7, 8. Okay, well, who is it, Eugene? It's not you.
It's yeah, I wasn't gonna read. Vanessa, Vane.biz2biz@yahoo.com.
Okay, sweet, sweet,
Hey.
sweet. All right, all right. So Vanessa, I will be emailing you shortly. We're gonna connect. I will be sending that over to you. Should be having that in less than a week. Okay. So it is a book. It is a book, and I hope that it encourages you. If you've already read it, I always ask people, if I'm giving you a book to read and you've read it, been there, done that, pass it on to someone else who needs it, because you never know who you're going to influence.
Thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you for tapping in, everyone. I appreciate everyone's support and giving me the space. And yeah, I
Well,
hope you guys
hey,
enjoyed.
Ezra, that was absolutely amazing. If you want to go ahead and take your screen off so we can open up the lines. Wow, girl, truly inspired and empowered by you. We definitely want to open up the lines and have some feedback and just kind of see what everybody had to take from your phenomenal training. But I got to ask, and so therefore I'm going first. You said awareness without action is a stalled life, and then you said something else. Do you recall what that was? Awareness without action is a stalled life. Action without something is something.
Let's see here. I'm
You're
forgetting
probably
myself
freestyling it.
too.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, it was, when you have your flow state, that's where it's at for me. Just the flow state,
Absolutely. No worries. If it comes to you, please shoot me a text. That was bars for sure.
For sure.
So
You,
many
you know,
bars.
right? One of the things that stood out to me that really hit home, and I almost dropped a tear with how deep you were about it. But you said my why didn't show up in success; it showed up in my struggles. And just to get as vulnerable with you as you had shared, and by the way, wow, what an overcoming achievement to go from physically being paralyzed for quite some time and not allowing that as an excuse to hinder you from what you wanted to come out of it, right? Despite how most people just from the physical pain would have given up. You had to utilize not only overcoming that physical pain, but that mental pain of knowing that you're somewhat defeated physically, right? So what a true inspiration to that, because as I look back at that, like many people who this is the peace of mind community, folks, and so not calling anyone out specifically, but many people on their journey of entrepreneurship get beaten, defeated just by their own mental, thoughts that hinder them from moving forward. And what really is a huge inspiration to me hearing from you, Ezra, is that uh, if we would have just attached that same physical pain that you had into our own mental, all of us who pursues or inspires or aspires to become entrepreneurs will have that ultimate freedom and become entrepreneurs. You had to overcome that physically and mentally. Have we just simply developed ourselves to overcome that mentally, this world is ours. And so thank you for sharing that. My why didn't show up in success, it showed up in struggle. It's challenging and saddened to see a lot of individuals give up on the very first setbacks that they go through. And to know that you've done that physically and mentally is just an inspiration. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, doing the this presentation, I kind of got teary because it is emotional. I remember sorry. I remember my family's faces. My best friend Tiff is on the line, and surround yourself with people who care, you know? She prepped me the day before surgery. She showed up. You know, my brothers too, so it means a lot when you have the right people around you, especially when you don't have a clear vision for yourself. You need to gravitate to those people who love you more than you can ever love yourself, and you need to borrow those strengths, you know?
Mm.
So if you have a mentor right in front of your face, take that opportunity. Don't pass it up. Do not pass it up. You just never know, you know? You just never know. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. That was so deep. Let's go ahead and open up the lines. Anybody got anybody
We
to
love
share?
you, Ezra.
Love you, Ezra. Good
Thank
job.
you. You too.
Love it. Fire.
So fire. So fire. Anybody else? Don't be shy.
Hey, Ezra, Amber here.
Hey, Amber.
Hey, girl, dude, you gave me chills like crazy. Like, I couldn't take a smile off my face. I mean, of course, you are so beautiful, and I've got to meet you in person. You're literally glowing right now. But, you know, your mindset, your soul, and just your kindness when I met you, you're a lioness. I mean, just hearing you from the beginning, just, you know, humble and everything to just you bringing it home and driving it, sharing your story, like that vulnerability and your testimony shows true leadership. I mean, like you said, failing forward and being able to show like the instructions to your family, to your friends, to the people that you inspire as like a survival guide. It just might be the example to someone's breakthrough. And I posted something the other day. It's like this place that you're at, like God circled on a map for you, and you can't let your mindset, you know, bring you down. Your mindset is your greatest weapon, not just your body. And you know, you need that to come back in, you know, those weak moments. And like you said, where peace meets power, we all have a choice, and you know, we all have that power. Distractions, you know, only win if you let it. So I love hearing you speak, and it's not often, but I can't wait to see you in August. And thanks again, girl.
Woo-hoo, I'm excited.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Anybody else? Please don't be shy. We'd love to get some thoughts, feedback. That was a deep training. And so hopefully if you've taken some copious notes here, you can give some feedback. Plus, doing so will allow you to retain it even more. So go ahead and proclaim it, project it, give it back as you can instill it back into you tenfold.
This is Jim,
Hey,
Ezra's
Jim.
little brother, and
Hey.
I'm in the car right now, just crying. I'm so proud to, I'm so proud to have her, my Ezra, be my sister, to have guided me, to been an example, to have led me, leadership. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so proud to call her my sister. in the car crying, shoot.
That's
I love you,
awesome.
Jim.
What's up, Jim?
Thank you so much for sharing, Jim.
Woo, emotional.
Right on.
The air conditioning, man, on the Zoom is crazy, bro. It's
So humid over here, Eugene.
the AC in this thing.
What's that?
I'll
Anybody
just make
else?
this quick, man. I'll
Please.
just make this quick. First of all, that's my baby right there, y'all. Shoot. Man, I knew this was gonna be fire. I don't know if you guys ever heard Ezra speak before, but every time she doesn't do it nearly enough. I think we can all agree that we need to hear her from her way more often. But every time I hear her, I'm just absolutely floored. And my God, we recorded this, right? This is recording work.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Cause like I don't know if y'all ever listen to like battle rap, you know, with rappers, they go up against each other or freestyles, and you hear like the punchlines, and you're like, ooh, that was a cold line, and then you just listen to it back because you want to hear the lines over and over. Yeah,
Right.
this is just bar after bar, babe. I mean, I don't know where you cook this stuff up, but this is like
Big
this
forehead
goes
for
on
a
the
reason,
rotation
okay?
on the mixtape. Like, what is it? Leadership isn't about feeling ready. It's about showing up regardless of how you feel. I'm not here to
Mm.
condemn you. I'm here to calibrate you. We're not here to post quotes. We're here to live a life worth quoting. Words may inspire, but examples transform. Clarity doesn't come from what you do, but why you do it. Like, what? What do you do? What?
Yeah, fire.
Bars. Somebody get this girl a record deal. We
Right?
we
So
signing you.
fire.
Great stuff, babe. I'm so proud. Did someone turn this air conditioning down? That was crazy.
Thank you, thank you.
That's awesome. I couldn't agree more, man. That was powerful. Bars after bars for sure. Anybody else? Let's hear some new faces, new names on our call. Any takeaways that you have benefited from?
Hey, this is Cecilia, Northern California. Sorry, guys, I'm driving right now, and I caught the tail end of it. But Ezra, thank you for your inspiration. I'm also a GMTer, but I've lost my fire. So just to hear you and the joy and the love of what you're doing is very inspiring and very motivating. And just, I don't know, I haven't felt that spark in my belly in a minute. And so thank you for that. I needed that inspiration. You're very
sure.
inspiring, and thank you for bringing it with fire, man. I appreciate it so much.
For sure. You know, you're in the right path. Something was urging you to sit in and listen. That's all you can do. You tried. You know, every single step it builds up compound interest. So keep doing
Hey.
Right on. Thank you.
and
Awesome stuff, Cecilia. Glad to have you on, and thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Don't be shy. Let's hear it. Let's spread the love. Pay it forward. Going once. Going twice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our Peace of Mind call this evening. Ezra, thank you again so much for pouring into all of us. Congratulations to Vanessa for winning that incentive, for just showing up. Look, folks, if you loved what you heard and if you enjoy what you see, please, every Tuesday, don't only show up with the intentions of growing and developing, pay it forward. Right? We've put this community together to have different entrepreneurs with different backgrounds, different walks of life pour into you. And so next few weeks, we got a phenomenal lineup, not to take away from our tonight's speaker. So just know that next Tuesday, again, at 6:30 p.m., we'll be having another live call. So don't only come back, but bring a friend with you. Take care, take charge, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye for now.